Snow drifted softly over the red brick ribbons of Boston's Back Bay as the hearse turned off the maple-lined street. The wooden door of 841 clicked shut with an icy snap. In the yard, 6-year-old Maya Brooks hugged a fox plushie with a torn shoulder, her legs trembling in soaked shoes. Fresh from the cemetery, Trina, a 35-year-old stepmother, and the man beside her, Chad Riker, yanked Maya onto the porch. "Wash off the bad luck," Trina said, biting off each word. A bucket of freezing water slammed over Maya's hair, shirt, and tear-swollen face. The fox fell onto the step and Chad's heel grounded into the stone. "Freeloader," he hissed. "Your dad's gone. Nobody needs you here." A Range Rover braked hard by the gate. A tall man in a charcoal overcoat stepped out. Noah Hale, a name Boston's tech world knew well, a cool-headed private investor with a decisive streak. Without a word, he shrugged off his coat and draped it around Maya's shoulders, warmth blooming instantly. Then he looked straight at Trina. "This ends here." Trina gave a thin smile. "Who are you to meddle in my family?" "The last person Daniel Brooks trusted," Noah said, naming the friend laid to rest that morning, the man who'd once told Noah that any lost child deserved an open door. "And the person who won't allow this child to be hurt another second." Across the street at Horizon Beans, Jenna Park, a barista and small-time podcaster who told everyday Boston stories, stood frozen behind the glass. The cafe's front camera kept recording. She tapped save, capturing everything: the bucket, the hissed insults, the overcoat settling over a small, shaking body. Noah lifted Maya. "We're leaving," he said, voice final. "Anyone with something to say can meet me in court." Noah's penthouse near the Charles River was so quiet they could hear the wind flex the window panes. He lit the fireplace, handed Maya a soft hoodie, and warmed tomato soup. She leaned toward the bowl's steam and ate slowly. Firelight went honey gold across her drying hair. His overcoat cocooned her in a pocket of heat. "Will you leave me, like they did?" Maya asked, eyes fixed on the fox's frayed ear. Noah's hand tightened on the chair back. More than 20 years had passed since he'd been a 10-year-old boy curled up in the hallway of a domestic violence shelter, when Daniel pressed a paper cup of hot cocoa into his hands and said, "None of this is your fault." The world had rolled forward. That old promise had become a vow. "No," Noah said. "I'm staying." Across the street, Jenna set up a waveform and recorded a new episode for her podcast, Porchlight. She replayed the footage, the child's flinch, the white splash of water, the wetted voice. It wasn't the kind of story she preferred. She liked warmth, but something insisted. This needed to be told, carefully and fairly. Night fell. Maya stepped onto the balcony with her fox plushie, the last birthday gift from her father Daniel. She fussed with the bow on the fox's right ear. A seam gave way, revealing the tiniest slit. Her fingertip touched something hard, cold. She tugged out a micro SD card and a folded scrap of paper. "For my Maya. The truth is here." Noah exhaled, a pinch of pain beneath his ribs. He slid the card into his laptop. Files bloomed, photos of Daniel's SUV's dashboard with the note, "ECU anomaly," scans of a power of attorney draft signed under heavy sedation, Daniel's note, "I don't remember signing," a snapshot of Trina meeting a board member from Brooks Modular at a Seaport bar, and 4 audio memos, Daniel's voice, roughened by medication, describing pressure to transfer shares to a fund that's a friend of Chad's. Noah texted, "Anderson, need you now." William Anderson, a retired contracts professor turned Will's attorney, replied almost instantly, "Secure evidence, no direct confrontation, court in the morning." At Horizon Beans, Jenna cut the cafe footage, blurring Maya's face and keeping the buckets splash. She rang Elena Morales, Suffolk County's deputy district attorney, who had once guested on her show to talk child protection. "I've got footage," Jenna said, "and maybe a lot more. Elena's voice went low. Send it through the secure channel. If it holds up, I'll move for an emergency order. By morning, the county courthouse swelled with bodies. Noah carried Maya through the scanners. Anderson, hair neatly silver, toted a briefcase thick as a wrist. Dorothy Quinn, the downstairs neighbor from the Brooks house, signed a trembling statement. A thud and crying last night. A brick through Jenna's rear window at dawn. Note attached. Stay quiet if you want peace. Frank O'Leary, the mechanic who serviced Daniel's SUV, submitted an ECU report. Evidence of software tampering. This isn't a brake failure. Across the aisle, Trina wore fur and dark glasses, her hand locked around Chad's. Their lawyer projected his voice. Mr. Hale abducted a minor to leverage my client's assets. Anderson laid evidence on the table, one item at a time. The micro SD card, an audio forensics report authenticating Daniel's voice, the cafe camera photos, the ECU analysis, the POA drafts with medical records showing Daniel under heavy sedation at signing. Elena added a request. Witness protection orders for Dorothy, Frank, and Jenna. The judge looked to Maya. Do you want to say anything? You don't have to. Maya swallowed. The fox sat snug in her palm. If they loved me, she said, each word clean, they wouldn't have poured water on me in the snow. The courtroom held its breath. The judge nodded. The court grants temporary guardianship to Mr. Noah Hale, issues witness protection orders, compels Brooks Modular to produce complete share transfer records, and refers potential criminal violations to the district attorney. Trina shot to her feet, face draining. Chad tugged her down. For the first time, they understood they were facing an opponent who didn't shout. He used law and truth. Alongside the legal fight, a quiet campaign began. Jenna published a new episode, A Bucket on Commonwealth Avenue. She told it slowly, without sensationalism, inviting an expert to explain why washing off bad luck was not culture, but a pretext for violence. The episode flared into tens of thousands of listens. Anonymous messages poured into her inbox. Saw Chad with a guy from North Key Capital. Trina's been begging Daniel to sell for months. Heated argument over below-market transfer once. Noah opened a Zoom with Grace Hale, his sister, founder of Harbor Hearth, a community kitchen run from a bus. Grace listened a long moment. I thought you only did investments, she said. But if this is about a child, what do you need? Room to breathe, Noah said. A place where Maya can read aloud, cry loud, laugh loud, without anyone clapping a hand over her mouth. Grace smiled. Then build it. A vacant storefront near Horizon Beans was leased in a day. Frank arrived with his tool roll. Dorothy brought hand-sewn curtains. Jenna showed with boxes of children's books gathered through the podcast. Grace coordinated. Low shelves for little hands, a rug corner, a small art table. A cardboard sign went up. Reading room, the Porchlight Library. Where should I hang Dad's picture? Maya asked. Wherever feels warmest, Noah said. That afternoon, he took Maya to Anderson's office. Anderson passed over a wax-sealed envelope. Daniel sent this when he knew time was short, he said gently. Maya opened it, her father's slanted hand unfurled. If you're reading this, truth has spoken. Trust Noah. I owed him a roof once. Now he'll repay that debt with a roof for you. Maya looked up, eyes wet and bright. Will you stay? I will, Noah answered, as firm as a verdict. Another night, snow sugared the roofs. A black sedan drifted slow past the penthouse. A figure smoldered in the dark. A coal-red cigarette winked and died. Noah called security, and Elena. They're here. By morning, Jenna's kitchen window was shattered. A brick lay by her hand-painted wall. Tell the good stories. Elena secured search warrants for 2 addresses tied to a Chad-linked shell. Police found a computer containing Daniel's service schedule, a modified ECU firmware, and an email draft. Complete transfer. Guardian will be neutralized. At a brief press conference, Elena said only, "Truth doesn't mind the cold." The civil proceedings stretched another week. Trina's attorney invoked a mother's love. Anderson played an audio file. Daniel's voice, pain tamped down, fearing Maya would be used as a corporate talisman. Frank diagrammed the electronic control unit on a whiteboard. Dorothy described knocking at the door whenever Maya cried. Jenna supplied listenership data, proving the community's readiness to stand witness. Under investigative pressure, Brooks Modular's board voided all non-consensual transfer agreements. In the hallway, Trina saw Maya holding Noah's hand. For a flicker, so brief, it softened her face. Then it calcified again. Officers asked Trina and Chad to come clarify allegations of witness intimidation and document forgery. Flashbulbs popped. Jenna lowered her recorder, not triumphant, only light, as if a heavy brick had been set down where it belonged. On the day the court named Noah Hale Maya's legal guardian, Boston shone crisp and dry. The reading room hung a new oak sign. For Daniel Brooks, you kept the light. Frank repainted shelves. Dorothy finger-pressed the curtain pleats. Grace set a steaming pot of cocoa. Kids darted in like sparrows. Jenna brought her mic but didn't switch it on. She wanted to listen without tape. Maya carried her father's photo to the rug corner, set it carefully, and sat. She opened a blue-glittered book with big round letters. "Today," she said, voice wavering, then steadying. "I'll read out loud, so Dad can hear." Behind her, Noah stood with his hands in his coat pockets, watching the small head bob with the rhythm of sentences. For the first time since Daniel's death, the hollow space inside him wasn't empty. He wasn't the lost boy in a shelter hallway anymore. He was a man who knew how to build roofs for other people. Slow, steady, lawful. Anderson's 3 words chimed in his mind. But just now, he heard only Maya reading, children's giggles, and the soft jingle of the door chime. "Uncle Noah," Maya said after finishing a chapter, sprinting to hug him around the waist. "If one day you forget Dad, will you still choose me?" Noah bent, resting his forehead on her sun-smelling hair. "There are things I might forget," he said, "but some promises, I don't." Jenna handed Maya a star sticker. "For today's bravest storyteller," she winked. "And for the one who turned the light on at the right time." She tilted her head toward Noah. Grace came up, laying a hand on her brother's shoulder. "You've turned on a lot of lights," she said. "But this one," she glanced over the warm room, "will shine the farthest." On Christmas Eve, powder snow dressed Commonwealth Avenue. From the threshold, warm light pooled outward, making reading room look like it was breathing. Elena stepped in, turtlenecked, and set a small box on the table. A no-contact order for Trina and Chad. Paper thin as a leaf but heavy as a steel door swung shut on the past. "This," she told Maya, "is a shield made of ink." Anderson sent a parcel wrapped in oiled paper. The old music box, repaired. When Maya wound it, the melody rose smooth, no more hitch. On the lid's underside, Daniel had carved, "If you can hear this, you're in a safe place." Maya looked at Noah. "Am I in a safe place?" "You are," Noah said, crow's feet brimming. "And our house now has a reading room, Coco, Ms. Jenna who loves stories, Mr. Frank who builds shelves, Ms. Dorothy who sews curtains, Aunt Grace who makes the hottest chicken soup in Boston. And you," Maya said, smiling. Outside, Old South Church's bells chimed. New flakes started falling, small, even, like someone sprinkling peace over the roof lines. Inside, children opened simple gifts, a pencil, a stapled notebook, a comic made in Boston. Nothing expensive, everything full. Jenna lifted her recorder, then set it down. "No podcast tonight." The story had learned how to live on its own. In Maya's reading voice, in the way Noah stooped to listen, in Elena's bright, gentle eyes, in Frank's rough hands keeping the hammer's rhythm, in Dorothy's straight stitches, in Grace's pot of cocoa parked under a chalkboard sign reading, "Refills for everyone." At the close, Maya tugged Noah to the photo corner. She set a wooden star on her father's frame. "Daddy," she whispered, "I finished a whole chapter, and I didn't cry." Noah laid a hand on her shoulder. "Daniel," he said softly, not a prayer, just a message sent across a snowy night. "I kept my word." Maya looked through the window pane. Over Boston, city lights wove a soft silk ribbon. She squeezed Noah's hand, voice clear now. "I'm not alone anymore." "Never," Noah answered. And as the wall clock in the porchlight reading room tolled slow and sure, the small room, full of breath, laughter, and the hush of pages turning, became home. In it, a promise was kept. In it, a child was chosen. Once, twice, and always.